On the left-hand side, we have what's called your menu options. Essentially, clicking on this icon here, it's going to be your toggle menu. To get it back to come up, you can either just hover back down or you can click on it to have it stay on the screen there. We also have this star, which works as a favorites page. Essentially, it's built the exact same way as any browser would be, so Internet Explorer, Chrome, or Firefox. Essentially, you can click on this favorites button, click on edit, and then you can just click and drag of whatever screens you want in your favorites location there. On the top right here, we have our home button. Essentially, if I'm on a system screen here, I click on my home button, it's just going to take me right back to this page. Here we have our question mark, which is our help desk. Essentially what this is here is it's our online help guide or our user guide. So there's no need to print out a user guide because it is all online for you guys. And everything is going to be dynamic to whatever page or menu screen you're on. So if I'm on my review check screen, I click on the question mark, it's going to go ahead and open up a new tab and take me directly to the Positive Pay user guide. The next one here is a bell. It's our notifications. Whenever we have a notification, it's going to go ahead and have a little circle with a 1 or a 2 or however many notifications we have. And then I can click on that notification, and it's going to go ahead and take me directly to where that notification is. Essentially, it works the same way as the Facebook notifications. You guys are probably familiar with that. You know, you can click on that little bell there. It's going to take you directly to that notification on that page. The next one is the gear button here on the top right. Essentially, this is where you can sign out of the system. You guys will not have the ability to see the change password. All you guys will have is log out. One thing to keep in mind is the system will sign you out sitting there idle for the default settings of IIS for 20 minutes. Or what you can do is you can just click on the X button to close out of the browser or X out of the tab. Keep in mind, once you launch Positive Pay, it's going to go ahead and single sign you in. And it's going to open up a brand new window or tab, and then your online banking will still be open behind this screen here or on a different tab. Now, on this left-hand menu, we can expand and collapse everything, and everyone's is going to look a little different depending on what is all assigned to you guys. But you can click on the headings, and it's going to expand or collapse these. So let's kind of talk about your daily processing procedures. So the way the Positive Pay system is going to work is each morning, if you guys do have an exception, you guys will be notified via email saying, hey, you have X amount of exceptions to be reviewed in the system. If you guys do not have any exceptions to be reviewed today, you guys will also get an email saying you have no exceptions for today. But let's say I'm a client user, and then I did get an email saying I have exceptions to be reviewed for the day. So the first thing I'll do is I'll sign into my online banking, click on my Positive Pay link. It's going to go ahead and open up this window. Now, when I'm in the Positive Pay system, I'll click on the Quick Exception Processing menu action here, and it's going to always be on top for you guys. And then this is where I'm going to go ahead and make my decisions for the day. Now, keep in mind, the Positive Pay system, we are next day Positive Pay. So technically, all of these items have hit your account. Now it's time for you guys to say, hey, do I want to pay these items, or hey, I want to return these items. Starting on the top here, our account ID. If you guys have multiple Positive Pay accounts, you can filter between all your accounts from up here, or you can just click on all. It's going to display all of these accounts down here on the bottom. We have a hide exceptions already decision button. So as I make decisions to these items, I will be able to uncheck this box and see what I've already made decisions to. On the top right here, these are going to be dynamic to whatever's already been done to our decision. So process exceptions. So I've already made a decision to 2 of my items for this dollar amount here, and then I'm showing my unprocessed exceptions of 9 items for this dollar amount, and then my total exceptions for the day is sitting right there. Also take note here that your guys's will be a little different depending on your guys's cutoff time and your decision. But on the screen, it's going to also tell you, hey, you have until 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock, whatever the time is. And then if you guys do not make a decision to your items, the system's going to automatically pay or return your items in the system. So now just looking at all my exceptions for the day, it's shown that I have 9 exceptions. Everything on this top column here is sortable by ascending or descending, so I can click on one of these columns and it's going to go ahead and resort them. Also, it's going to go ahead and show me both my check and ACH items if you guys are using an ACH positive pay as well. So now I just need to take a look at my item and say, okay, do I want to pay this item or do I want to return this item? So for my first item here, we have our, it's going to be a check item. Also, with all our checks, you do have a view image link, so you can see the image of the check. Now mine is just a demo site, so I won't be able to see the actual check. It's just going to pull up a default check for me, but essentially it's going to have the front and the back of the check and a little bit of information on the check for me. You're also going to have the option to print the check and export it to a PDF document as well on your guys' system. So for this first item, it came through as a stale dated item, so I know, hey, I was expecting this check. They just took forever to cash it, so I'm going to go ahead and tell the system to pay it. Also, for all these other ones, I'm going to tell the system that, these are legitimate checks. I'm going to go ahead and pay these, and then I want to return one of these other items. I'll just mark these for the ACH items for the time being. So once I click on update, the system is going to say, hey, we have an error on line 9. Return reason is required. Now, whenever we choose to return an item in the system, we will need to make sure that we choose a reason. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose that this was a stale dated item, and I'm going to go ahead and click on update. Now, since my cutoff time is set to 11 a.m. On my demo system here, I have all the way up until 11 a.m. to make any changes. So, essentially right now, I am done making my decision in positive pay for the day because all my exceptions have some type of decision made to them already. If I need to go back into the system and change that prior to 11 o'clock, I can do so by unchecking that box, and I can say, hey, you know what, I actually want to pay this item. So then I can flip that back to a paid decision over there. Then I click on update, and then essentially I am good to go with working my exceptions for the day. So that is how you guys will work your exceptions for the day. So in the morning, you guys will get an email notification saying, hey, you have X amount of exceptions to be processed for the day. Or if you do not have any exceptions, you will get an email saying you do not have any exceptions. Also, the system is going to remind you 1 hour prior to your guys' cutoff time if you guys have not yet processed your exceptions. So we're going to send out one initial email telling you have exceptions, and then one more reminder if and only if you have not yet processed your exceptions 1 hour prior to your cutoff. Now let's go over a couple of other screens here, mainly under your transaction processing. The biggest thing here is your submit issue check file. This is how you're going to upload a file into the Centrix system of all of your outstanding issue checks. So what you would do is you click on submit issue check files, and then it's going to take you down a 3-step process here. So step 1 is you need to select your file. So you would click on choose file, and then you just need to browse out to wherever your guys' outstanding issue check file is coming out of your accounting software. The second step is we need to tell the system what account is this going to. So if you guys are bringing on multiple accounts onto the positive pay system, and you guys are using different file formats for each one, you need to go ahead and choose, okay, I want to put this into my expense account, or I want to put it into my payee account or my ops account. You just need to select whichever account you're wanting to upload this file to. And then for your file processing type, you just need to choose what file processing type you guys are using. Essentially, I believe you guys are all going to be using one file, so this will just always default for you. And then once you click on process file, what's going to happen is you're going to get a pop-up message saying you've submitted an issue check file. You'll be notified via email once it's processed. And depending on the size of the file, that email should come fairly quickly. But the system's going to say, hey, we received your file. We'll notify you when we process it. And then as soon as we actually import the file into the system, you'll get another email telling you that it was successfully imported or rejected or processed with exceptions, whatever the case may be. Now, the next screen that we're going to cover is your add new issued checks. This is essentially a way for you guys to add a single check into the system. So let's say I just submitted an issued check file with 100 items, but I forgot 2 items. Instead of me going out there and recreating a new file with those two items, I can just come in here to this add new issued check screen and manually input them into the system. So to do so, I would just need to choose my account that I want to add this check to, type in my check number, type in my amount, type in my issue date, and then type in my payee if I want to, and I can click on add check, and it's going to go ahead and add that check into the system for me. If I were to add multiple checks, and I click on this auto increment check number, what it's going to do is it's just going to bump this number up one more check as soon as I hit add check. So it's kind of a neat feature there. So you're not just recreating a brand new issue check file for one or two checks that you missed by accident there. Or if you need to issue a check right away, instead of creating that file, you can come in here and issue that check. Now the next thing we're going to cover is the review checks. Essentially this is going to let you review all of your checks. It doesn't matter what status the check's in, doesn't matter if it's paid or outstanding or stopped or voided. Essentially it's going to show you every single check in the system. Also you can filter it between specific accounts. So if you know, hey, I'm looking for this one specific check for my payee account, I could just go directly to my payee account. Or if I want to see all of my checks for all my accounts on Positive Pay, I can do so here. But what this is it's going to give me a breakdown of all the checks that I have in the system. I can click on display. It's going to go ahead and show me the trace number and additional information on here. And then again, I have my view image links right here sitting in the check number field. Now, we do also put different statuses on items. What you can do here is you can click on the show key button, and it's going to show you, okay, whenever I have an item that's an exception, it's going to look like this little biohazard sign. Whenever I have a green check mark, it's going to be a paid. When I have an X, it's going to be a stop, an R for reversal, and a V for the void there. And then the navigation down on the bottom, we can have our first button, our previous button, or you can go ahead and select a specific page and then hit next or hit last. It's going to go ahead and navigate you down on the bottom there. Also, we do show you an item count and then a dollar amount on your review checks here. So again, your review checks is going to show you all of your checks that you have in the system. It doesn't matter what status it's in. And don't forget here in the top right, we do have our help desk button. So if I have a couple questions on, hey, what does a green check mark mean? I can click on that as well, and it's going to show me right here that it's a paid item. Your next screen here is a void a check screen. If you guys ever needed to void a check in the system, what you would do is you would follow the steps that are on screen here. So step one is it's telling you, okay, what account and what's my check information. So I want to void a check that's on my payee account. So I choose that, type in my check number, type in my dollar amount, and type in my issue date here. And then what the system's going to do is going to try to find that matching check. So I hit find check, and then if we did find it, we're going to go ahead and show you that we found it, and then do you want to void it? But if we don't find it, the system can also add the check and then place a void on it right away as well. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop rather than going into add new issue check and then coming back to the void a check screen here. All right, the next couple search screens here will be pretty much doing exactly what these screens are going to tell you. So check search, it's going to let you search for any check in the system. Now, a lot of these check search screens, you can be as detailed as you want or very general in your searches. So it's going to always show me my client or my company, and then I have the option to search for a specific account or up to 3 accounts here. If I wanted to search all 5 of my accounts, I would just leave these 3 blank. And then if I wanted to search by a start and end of an issue date, a pay date, a check number, an amount, or an issued payee, I can do so from here. You can also search by a specific transaction status, a stop pay status, a decision of pay or return, or any specific reason of this check here. So let's just say I want to search for anything with a pay date of October 1st all the way up until today for all my accounts. I can click on Produce Report, and it's going to show me all of my paid items that I've had in the system since the 1st of the month. The next one is your paid check search. This is going to show you all of your paid checks, depending on your search status here. Again, you could be as detailed or general as in that criteria as well. So again, I'll just search for my pay date of October 1st all the way until the end of, or all the way up until today. If you leave that blank, that's just going to default to today's date. Hit Produce Report, and again, it's going to show me all those paid checks. Now that's really all that I have for the positive pay side of things. I know we kind of flew by it, but essentially, the biggest thing is you're going to get an email saying that you have an exception or that you do not have an exception, and then you need to go in and make a decision on those items, and then submitting your issued check files via the submit issued check file screen. I guess does anyone have any questions regarding how you guys would handle your exceptions or submit an issued check file into the positive pay system?
It's kind of weird. As soon as I saw the 4646, it's like I dialed that.
Doesn't sound like there's any questions.
I was just waiting for can you touch on the reports? I do have a client who pulls their issue after they upload the reports. I mean, their issues, they pull reports. So maybe if you could just touch on that, that would be great.
Okay, yep. So down here we have our transaction reports. Essentially, these are going to show you pretty much any reporting out of the system here. So in this case here, hey, we want to see what our outstanding issued checks are for. So we can click on our outstanding issued checks, and we can run it, again, for a specific account. And then, again, if we leave it blank, it's just going to run it for all of our accounts tied to our client. And then let's say you want to see everything that was outstanding since the first of the month. You can go ahead and click on your issue date and leave your end date blank. Or you can run it by a specific input date, as of date, or by a specific payee. I can hit produce report, and it's going to tell me all of my checks that I've had that are outstanding since the first of the month. Up here, it's going to give me the check count here, and then down on the bottom, it's going to give me a total dollar amount. A lot of these reports as well are exportable and printable. You can just click on these two icons here, so we can export it to an Excel spreadsheet, or you can print it off here by clicking on the print icon. And then we can sort these by ascending or descending as well from any of these columns. So it's going to give me all my information. It's going to tell me what account this belongs to, what's the check number, what's the dollar amount, who it was issued to, the issue date, and then the input date, so the day it came into the system. If I want to look at how many checks were issued on a specific day, I can click on my daily issued check summary. So again, I would just go ahead and choose whatever account or just my client. And let's say I want to see everything that was issued from 10/10. I can click on produce report. Oh, I don't have anything issued there. Let's just run it from the first of the month till the 10th. So it's telling me on the first, I had, for my payee account, I had 6 checks entered into the system. For my payroll account, I had 31 checks. For my expense account, I had 1,430 checks, and it's going to go ahead and give me my dollar amounts on the right-hand side too. So this is a pretty good report as well.
Zine branch, actually, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
He's been with us for a year. Yeah. And then
any other questions regarding positive pay?
Up on the north side. Yeah. He's the one. Well, you know, like the ponytail slash, you know, kind of thing that would distinguish him. He's got a ponytail.
I'll go ahead and mute everyone again real quick, and then if you do have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself.
And then ask that question.
Is he?
All right, does anyone have any questions regarding the positive pay side of things?
Okay, well, it looks like everybody is good. I don't see that anybody is unmuting themselves to ask questions.
Okay.
So I guess at this point, if there are no additional questions regarding the online banking navigation, we'll give one last option for that. And then if not, I would like to thank everybody for joining us today and hope y'all are all as excited as we are about this new digital banking site that's going to be coming soon.